a recent purchase from a government's facility, specifically the NRC. I'm grateful that such institutions are actually falling to pieces, because they're Cold War sort of facilities that used massive amounts of government money to buy just fantastic equipment. And this one in particular is just the most exquisite of pattern maker sanders. So it's going to round out the collection quite nicely. The thing with the NRC is they have a ridiculous maintenance schedule, and this thing would have been just kept pristinely, regularly serviced and never ran hard or anything. It's in excellent condition. I purchased this a few days ago. I put a cord on it, and it's actually running right now, the 30-inch disc there. And it is so quiet, it's unbelievable. The Wadkin machines, of course, run some of the most exquisite bearings, and I do know that there is an ABEC roller bearing bronze cage self-aligning in the big huge disc motor, and the typical bearings in the spindle here. 9-inch spindle, direct drive motor, little oil bath right there. But just listen to how quiet this is. It's unbelievable, really. Here I am right in at the motor. I mean, listen to that. It is just squeaky quiet. The discs are approximately 150 pounds each. They are precision surfaced to disc sand. I sanded the end of this end grain here, and it is dead flat. The sander tilts. See if I can show you that. The sander tilts. This little ring stops it at 90. If you rotate it, it allows the table to go beyond 90, but that's your 90 setting. Your gauges, 15 forward, 45 back. And this is your in and out for the table. It's just effortless. Big cast iron, solid bronze pointer, nicely ribbed table, just an exquisite piece. 7-inch dust port, nice welded to 4-inch. The thing has to be hooked up to dust. It'll just blow a stream, and in fact the department had stickers put on telling the people to do that. So I shut that off. It'll take approximately 15 minutes to actually wind down. So I'll go through and sort of show you the machine. It's an exquisite example. This is what I would call the front side. It has, the Wadkin tag. As you can see, you can see the plate is 5/8 steel. These little holes here are for handles. So to change the plate, you would unbolt it there, put handles in, and lift those plates off. Motor is a British Thermal Houston typical of Wadkin. It's 4 ponies, massive 900 RPM motor, massive bearings, and as I said, if you can see the bearing size of the front, it is a roller bearing that won't span my hands. Precision made. The spindle is a little different from my JY, which is the independent unit of this. This one does contain the single thickness throat plates, so in the shop, the JY, the separate one, is a single thickness. Sorry, these are such precision fit, they're a little awkward to, you've got to just get them out exactly at the same time. There you go. So I've only got the single thickness here, and the dust collection comes out this port back here through a little hole right there, right through the table. And this one has a fabric accordion arrangement attached underneath. And you can see that this seals up around the motor and guides all the air to that chute, which you can see casted right here into the table. It's a lovely, lovely thing. This little lid right here, it pops off, and this actually is a oil reservoir with wicks that run back into the ways, and you can see the oil dripping out. What it does is there's zigzag channels in the interior behind this gib plate that constantly oil the ways outside, so any grit never can get in to the oiling of this machine. This is filled with oil. That runs a massive bronze bull gear. Excuse me, I'll try to take the camera off. That runs this massive bull gear right here. So this is entirely encased in oil, and it's accessed right there. And even these arms are greasable. They're bronze. The thing is a piece of work. It's a real piece of work. Once again, bronze pointers, tags, dust collection through there. Let me show you the oscillation. So, look at that. It's still running. You could probably sand. I don't even know if I could stop that. Like, I am pushing. I am pushing with all, there we go. Okay. So as you can see, this is different. I don't also have this on my other one. I have a bolt in the bottom of my other double plate. And so this is a spindle lock, which allows you to change out the spindles. And once again, this is a little lid trough that needs to be filled with oil. And like all British things, once it stops leaking oil all over the place, it's time to add more oil. So this is a spring-assisted direct drive motor. So the actual spindle is the shaft of this motor. It's 1.25 inches. Okay. The department also lovingly put the types of motor oils to put into this, including the grease schedules to modern. So they're saying that's what the oil is in that. It needs to be a detergent-free oil because of the bronze parts. And I run a 20 weight, which is pretty standard for those sorts of things. The rise and fall, the motor is spring balanced I don't actually know if we could, yeah, you can make out just barely the spring in there. That spring assists the weight of the motor. So the shaft of the motor comes down, and that's what makes it oscillate. We'll start that up, and I'll show you. Nice and smooth. Very, very quiet. So I don't know if you can see the spring in there. Do you see it? That's counterbalancing the motor so that the works doesn't have to lift that motor. Once again, I'm right up at the motor. It's as quiet as hell. Okay, it's a 1960s model. Once again, a British Hummel Thurston BTH motor. Fantastic motors. This is an aftermarket affair, which I think is pretty cool. They've extended the drain for the oil bath. You know, you can see it just spinning in there, eh? To drain that out. It does look a little funny in color, so I'll probably redo that and clean it. But just lovely. Once again, tilting mechanisms, rise and fall, which is a little stiff, as you can see. And there is the operation of the works, rising and falling. You know, just brilliant. I don't know how you could possibly ever wear that out, unless you didn't have any oil in it. But the NRC insisted that they rechange the grease. They've listed the grease, so I really only have to see what the if the bearings need packing or whatnot. Tells me that there's 3 grease nipples here and 1 screw. So this machine has been just lovingly taken care of. Ball oilers, just exquisite. It appears that they've added a spacer on this top casting to the disc, and I'm not sure why. There's also a little flip thing here to direct the dust for certain operations. You have a safety mechanism here, and you know, your typical star, and this can rotate up and you'll have full access to the disc. It is just an unbelievable machine. You cannot imagine how exquisite it is to stand in front of it. The pictures are amazing of these machines, but the absolute quality of them is unbelievable. About the only thing I'm a little disappointed with is Wadkin went to plastic covers here. These are solid bronze stop switches, and they are lockout, so you can twist and lock the machine out. But I think I'll cast the stop sign switches for this is probably all I'll do. I'm not sure what these are, whether those are leveling bolts or pins. Their pin location. First time I've seen a pin, it obviously wouldn't turn. So these obviously are the pin location of this motor, and finally Wadkin has put in a head that we can actually pull. So there's the bolts in the back. Here's where you would change your disc. You know, so that's it. I must say, it sounds like the USS Enterprise taking off. And officially, I have a bet with a guy that mine will start faster than his. So I'm going to press the start and listen to this thing start up. As I said, Star Trek. Once it's running, it is absolutely quiet, unbelievably quiet. I don't know what to say. It is just an exquisite machine. Even with both running, it's a very, very quiet machine. An excellent, just excellent addition to the Wadkin Temple. I'm sorry I got it and took it from some others that were bidding against it, but at the same time, I'm glad I got it. Anyway, thought I'd give my 2 cents. There's still a number of things yet to determine on it and clean, but I think it's in immaculate condition. Super stoked. Thanks, guys.